I am, might need a minute. I'm actually out of breath.
Did you go on a run?
No, I did push-ups.
Is that so you can look like really swole for this audio recording?
Yeah, dude. I'm recording the webcam. Are you not recording the webcam?
Oh, fuck. I'm not recording the webcam.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Just pictures?
Oh, I was going to do that. I didn't know you were recording a webcam.
Yeah, no, I was joking. I'm not recording a webcam. But I didn't even think about that, act.
I'll make the video something. People gotta cut us some slack, right? Like there's a pandemic going on. If there's ever a time to have an excuse for poor production quality, I'm going to take advantage of it.
And I will let you take advantage of it because I don't do anything. In fact, today was probably the most I've done ever for the podcast. And that I'm recording my own audio.
Oh, yeah, congratulations. That's not true. You did a remote one, and that was a lot of work for me. But, we don't have to talk about that. Man, I realize now, like, so many ways that this setup isn't great. I didn't do an own audio check. I don't know how... the microphones are going to sound different. My keyboard are cherry blues. So that's a thing that people are going to have to hear. So
everyone's going to tell when we're talking about Dota, and you have to Google what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I'll have to find a keyboard that's much quieter. Just start frivolously typing on my phone. But I don't know. How are you feeling, dude? Have you been properly socially distancing?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I've been home for like 10 days now. I haven't really gone out too much. My girlfriend and we went outside yesterday. We had to take some stuff out of her studio. She's trying to open her own studio, which is a bad time to do it. She just got the whole studio set up. It looks great. She did a great job. And then the coronavirus hits, and now everything's shut down. And we might still be paying rent for it.
Maybe that's great. I heard the economy's booming right now. So.
Oh yeah. My father does options trading. So anytime that I talk to him, there is a long conversation about the market and people and how he's disappointed in the way they're doing things and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Shouldn't he be happy about this though, because don't people generally in the market get excited almost when things go down because they can do their jobs or buy more? I don't know.
I mean, it depends on what your positions were before the crash.
Fair, yeah. All I know is that
a down market is an opportunity for because most people would trade. They don't trade. Yeah. They don't short things, right? Most people who trade aren't bears. They're like, everything's overinflated. Everything's going to be shit. I'm going to make money off of people losing money. Most people are naturally bullish. The way they invest is here are the products I believe in, not here are the products I don't believe in.
I made a little bit of money shorting Boeing once, and it was so unbelievably stressful that I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to do this again.
Options trading is particularly stressful because there is the basics of options trading is basically you don't own stock. You kind of rent a large amount of stock. And this is a very basic analysis of what it is. But you basically I hold a position that 100 stock, I can buy 100 stock for this price. And so that just means that the money that you can make, depending on your position, can be exponential to what owning the stock does. But at the same time, your opportunity for loss is greater as well.
So because your dad is into that, does some of that trickle down to you? Do you find yourself doing more market stuff because your dad's like, hey, you should do this? Or do you just avoid it?
It depends on the financial position I'm in. So if I'm if a lot of events have paid me, then maybe I'll put some money into investment. But it also depends on what I'm spending money on. Obviously we're trying to open up the beauty studio. So we've been paid by a lot of events, but I've held on to a lot of money just because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, and it's better to, I think, have that money in savings rather than potentially invest it, just in case,
sure.
Whatever emergencies are needed.
I was very excited. I just got a new gym membership last week, and I think I have to pay for it now, but I can't go. So
yes. I believe all the gyms are not offering a refund for the month of March.
I know some businesses have been kind of nice about this whole situation. I've had friends who've had like airlines refund tickets for planes that like they didn't have to refund, and some real estate agents and some renters have been pretty nice, but the gyms were not very kind to me. I'm like, man, I'm so excited. I'm gonna get so fit, and now I guess I'm still going to do that. I've determined that I'm going to spend my coronavirus quarantine getting sexy. And I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people say, right? Like, oh man, it's the new year, it's a new period. I'm just gonna like lose a bunch of weight. But I'm slightly understocked on food. I don't want to go out, and I have maybe 20 pounds of body fat that I can just eat as nourishment. Mm-hmm. So I think that's my plan. I think I'm gonna be opportunistic to play a lot of video games and lose weight by starving myself. I'm not a dietitian. I don't think I should be giving diet advice to anyone, but...
Well, there is, if you would like to join us in our workout thing, or anybody who's listening to this podcast, if you kind of want to go along with it as well, Blitz is currently doing a push-up challenge. We've got a group. There are two different groups. There's either the 10,000 in a month, which comes out to 350 a day, or 150 a day, which is I think it's like 4,500 or something like that. A little bit shy of 5K. But if you wanted to do that, it's a fun little thing. We have a WhatsApp group for it. We just occasionally just chime in how many push-ups we've done. It's nice. Keeps each other motivated for stuff like this.
I'd want to mix it up. Like, I'd want to also throw like some squats in there or something else than just doing
Joey.
Okay, hold on.
You could do this and do the other stuff.
You're right. I shouldn't be
like
shying
that's an
away
excuse.
From extra
everyone
activity.
I talk to who's like, I could do that, but I want to be able to work up my cardio and stuff. It's like, there's nothing going on. There's nothing stopping you from doing both.
Have you seen my arms, though? Like, I'd be embarrassed if they got bigger. Like, I'm trying to keep, like, a certain aesthetic, so I can't get too swole. Like, I need to be fully balanced. I need to do the cutting thing, not the bulking thing. Like, I'm going to have to buy new shirts because my sleeves will be too tight.
Now, this is a different excuse. I've heard this excuse as well. This is the females, I don't want to lift because I don't want to get big. It doesn't necessarily mean what's going to happen to you. You'd have to put on a lot of muscle to just get bigger.
The problem with getting big right now is that I could not be eating enough to actually sustain that. I can actually build muscle. Yeah. I can build muscle pretty well. I'm like I can be a football player in the sense of like, hey, let's bulk up, let's lift weights. It's the getting skinny that's the hard part. And I saw a picture of myself. Actually, the video that we posted on for the podcast, for the part one with Dan and the one that joined Dota shared screenshots of, I was so appalled at the way that I looked that I'm like, well, time to change everything.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have, if I wanted to be in the same shape that I was when I was in the military, then I could drop like 35 pounds.
Whew.
Well, maybe not that much. It'd probably be more like 25 now because I've put on muscle since then, but I was like really, really lean. I was 160 and I'm 195 now.
Wow.
160, 6 foot, I was in really good shape, but I don't. Yeah. So being talented, having pictures taken of you, there are definitely some angles where I'm just like, that's not.
You're like, I should keep the beard. I should keep the beard a little bit to hide something, dude. Once I can't even tell you the last time I was 160. I'm almost certain it was in middle school. I don't think I've been under 180 since like 2007.
Yeah, I was. I was always skinny until I hit my like mid-20s, and then things went downhill.
I would never call you not skinny. Like, you look like a normal, well-built person.
Yeah, I mean that's what I look like now, but like back then I was, again, 160 at 6 foot. I was pretty skinny.
That's lean. So military helped you both put on muscle too? Like,
it helped put on a little bit of muscle, but more than anything, I just got really lean. It's hard to put on muscle, like when you go through like just take boot camp, but also like any sort of combat training and stuff is a good example. You burn so many calories that it's hard to keep the weight up. Most guys that went in, like initially when they take their shirt off, like they'll be really muscly. Well, the guys that are built like that, and you know they'll be like really muscly and stuff, and by like the end of combat training or boot camp, they will actually have lost a fair amount of muscle. They will be really cut, but they will have lost a decent amount of muscle because you just burn too many calories. Can't keep up.
Do you have any other quarantine goals, or is it just 10,000 push-ups?
Well, this is actually, I'm not doing 10,000. I'm doing 150 a day, but I'm trying to get 200. I'll probably at some point in time try and build up to 350. I don't want to kill myself, but yeah, I've got similar goals to you. I'm trying to do one meal a day. So I'm trying to do intermittent fasting. I'm terrible with diet. That's the one thing. I can work really hard, but I cannot diet. I can't keep myself from eating food. I had the same problem in the military as well. But I was skinny back then, so it didn't matter, you know? So I've just always been used to being able to eat whatever I wanted. But once you get older, it starts going away.
Yeah, it's not even a food thing in particular, like, oh, I love sweets. It's just a quantity thing. Like, I can just put away so much goddamn calories that... Yeah. You know, if I have one night where I'm like, oh, hey, let's have a little bit of this joint and watch Bob's Burgers, then it's going to turn into like, did I just eat 5 bags of popcorn? And, you know, once I stop doing that, I think that I'll be in a better spot. Maybe. It's a real commitment thing.
Trying, like, getting high, like, guarantees that you're going to eat, like, a full meal again. So you get high at, like, say you get high at 10 p.m., obviously, you shouldn't be eating that late if you're like trying to follow an actual diet or something. You get high at 10 p.m., like by 11 p.m., you've ordered like a giant meal. You're going to put away most of it. It's just terrible.
Yeah, my roommate and I are really bad at that because he'll come home and he'll be like, hey, dude, I bought 5 packs of Oreos. And I'm like, why? I'm going to eat 3 of them. God damn it. Yeah, I really just want to focus on that now that I have the time, because there is no excuse. There's literally no excuse. Like, I shouldn't be going out eating. I shouldn't be out in public. I should be saving money. I have a bike that I can ride at home. I can go jog. I have weights to lift. Like, there's no reason that I shouldn't take this time and do something positive with it.
Oh, yeah. I should have come over and gotten your weights.
Yeah.
I need those now. I have nothing at home. I bought myself a pull-up bar to put over the doorstep, but other than that, I've just got the body weight exercises.
My secret is that I can't really do pull-ups.
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Oh, fuck. Never. Doop. I remember things that happened a week ago. Hey, do you remember a week ago when we were all hanging out at the summit and people were like just all willy-nilly enjoying each other and coughing around each other, and now no one can see each other?
I'm waiting for like one of these episodes to be, hey, remember a week ago when I wasn't sick with corona? Well, this is what life is now.
I've gone through so many waves of like being okay with it and then being paranoid that I have it. I think that I've been quarantined or quarantined-ish enough to where it would be absurd for me to have it, but I don't know if it's just dormant or light or gonna show itself in 7 days, or if I just fucked myself because I went to Chipotle 2 days ago and the cashier like spit in my burrito. Like, anything. I'm so worried.
You think this Chipotle worker, this vehement Chipotle worker is just like God damn it, the rest of the world has the day off. Why can't I? Fuck them. Fuck all of them. And it's just spitting into Chipotle burritos.
It could be, man. Or maybe, like, someone's just, like, very subtly licking their fingers and then, like, touching the chip bag. Maybe it's a very casual infection.
I'm not worried about it at all. I have a pretty good idea of just putting things out of my head. And I also just... it's whatever. So I'm just living my life as normal, which is, being inside anyway. So nothing's changed for me. This is my in-between event phase. So it's like, whatever. This is all I do. I stay inside, play Dota, and then I wait for the next event.
There's going to be a lot of time in between events, though, right? Because, I mean, you're not one of the people who are risking their lives to be in Kiev right now with WePlay. So what else is going on?
Yes. We could talk about that. Well, there is potentially more events coming up. There's lots of competition to get online tournaments and leagues going, and so very likely I will be busy doing something in the next month. So that's exciting.
I would assume so. We don't know how long this shit's gonna happen for. California, at least, is until January, February, March, April. I still have to do months on my fingers. I'm not a child. 419 is how long we're supposed to kind of be inside for at least, and we don't know how bad it's gonna get. So everyone is gonna want to do some type of league. Like ESL is gonna have to try and resell those sponsorships and try and make some bottom line by having a league. WePlay's obviously already doing something to get a lot of teams to sign up for it. I wouldn't be surprised if like BTS tried to do something. I'm just assuming that everyone is rushing to fill that content void, especially as people are staying home. I wonder if more people will listen to the pod. Oh, that was a burp. I wonder if more people will listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube video as a result, because I think content numbers are just going up because no one is going outside.
Yes, people are starved for content. People are running out of shows to watch on Netflix. All these streaming services, I'm sure, are getting such a big bump. Like especially the ones that aren't Netflix, because you're on Netflix, you run out of stuff to watch. You're like, all right, time to check out Hulu or Disney or whatever, and yeah, so this is an exciting time if you're a content creator, which we kind of are, I guess.
We are. I mean, you were just streaming, like you're recording this now. You're gonna
I stream. Like, what does my stream really do? I pull out a couple of hundred. I don't speak to them. They're like my poor, abused, neglected children. They just hang around in the chat, occasionally trying at me to get some attention from me, and I'm like, I'm busy. I'm playing Dota. Don't disturb me.
I'd argue, 200 people's more than most people on Twitch. That probably makes you a 1%er.
Yeah, but if I put effort in, I'm sure I could actually have a decent community.
Yeah, man. Why aren't you starting the online tournament? Why aren't we playing the Capitalist Cup and then you're monopolizing all these teams? I'm surprised.
Other people are going to do it for me, Joey, and then they're going to hire me. I'll make less money, maybe, but my job is simpler and easier.
That's fair. I can't argue that. I'm interested in how well WePlay is doing. Being, I guess it makes sense, right? They're doing this charity event, which has the benefit of being like, hey, everybody, it's a charity event, which naturally draws positive attention and viewers.
More importantly, it draws bigger teams, right? Potentially, like you get an OG who switches up their roster to include Seb. Then that is something that more people are going to definitely watch. I think that's probably a bigger draw than the charity itself, right? It's the fact that you get more teams, higher viewing teams, and then that trickles into the charity.
Yeah, when they first announced it, I'm like, wow, they got a really solid group of 8 teams. And then more teams said they were playing, and then more teams said they were playing, and then more teams said they were playing. And then suddenly, if you weren't playing, then you're probably an asshole. So, the network effects worked pretty well for that. It's just, the Europe region is Liquid Secret Enigma OG. Like, how dope is that?
Yeah. It helps that the European region is the hype one right now. And so it's like, and everybody, once that major was canceled, like everybody was in, I'm ready to play Dota mode. And so I know all the teams were actually really interested in playing online leagues and stuff. Like they're all just like, oh shit, there's nothing to do. Like let's get some, both like the players as well as the orgs. We're like, let's get some content going.
It's interesting. I would assume that they would want to almost use it as a nice break period or a rest period. Yeah, but it seems like the opposite's happened.
Yeah, like but for break/rest period, they already kind of had that, you know, for between majors. And so if you're one of the tier 1 teams, you've already had that break. And then, you know, like it's not much of a break if you're home, which is what you always are. As a player, as a talent, let me tell you, like you're home all the time, you know, with like if you're in a good position, right? If you're a tier 1 team in Europe, like a Secret or something, you don't boot camp as regularly as a lot of the other teams, and you're just at home. You get to do whatever you want. Same goes with talent. I don't have to go and like do minors if I don't want to. I could just go to majors.
How is it windy up there on top of your ivory tower?
It's great, Joey. Honestly, it's a nice view to look down on all you little people down there.
It's true. I'm just down here being like, oh, look, the tournaments, the teams. I want to play Dota. I haven't played any Dota in the last week. That's my second.
Shame.
That's my second goal. My quarantine goal is to not only get sexy, but also learn the new patch a little bit.
Okay, that's good. Blitz Dota will recommend you Necrophos mid. I don't know if it's just a theme of the current times with Corona going big, but Necrophos is quite strong right now.
Toxic Plague.
True.
Was there a change that is causing that I'm not obviously thinking about?
Blitz will tell you that he can pretty much trade with anybody in the mid lane right now, and it just feels really good. There's little things like I think the bounty change is a weird one. So they changed the economy, and so now comeback mechanisms are pretty much all on being able to kill heroes that are high level and have streaks. That's how you get your experience and your gold, especially the streaks. The streaks are really big. So if you can naturally get a net worth lead without building those things up, then it feels even better. So I think just being able to like 5-man through objectives is really strong.
Can you game that streak system to where you're like, oh shit, I don't want this kill, I don't want to be godlike, let's give it to the support?
I legitimately, I don't think you'll do that so much, but maybe from the other side of the coin, where it's like I had a game, for example, where I was 2-1 in like 8 or something on Mars. I had a really good lane. I killed the enemy safe lane tower. I was doing great. I was part of a lot of kills, but I didn't have a killing spree just yet. And I made that mental note of like, I don't have a killing spree yet. That just means I can go a little bit more ham. Like if I get a killing spree and then I play too aggressively and I expose myself and I die and I give that killing spree to them on top of just being a well-farmed hero and being like high level, then the enemy gets a lot out of it. But if I don't have a streak, it's not as big of a deal, you know? So I basically was able to farm more aggressively, position myself farther forward in team fights because I knew I didn't have a streak.
That's a good point. I'm going to have to play and take all that, try and think about all that stuff while I'm also thinking about, oh man, what also changed? Oh no. Oh, the neutral. Oh, what other thing? Oh, was my ult cooldown up? Like,
Joey, what's your MMR anyway? I've never asked you.
You've never asked that? I'm always so embarrassed to say because it's not bad.
Okay, well, let me just say if you're below immortal, then you probably don't have to worry about that. Just don't think about that stuff. Just focus on clicking your spells.
Yeah, I know, but like I want to think about that stuff. I want to have a full picture.
After you play for a bit, play for a month straight, figure Dota out, then you can start thinking about those things. But
You want me to take baby steps?
Yes. We're putting training wheels on you, Joey.
I just want to play Chaos Knight, and I want to play Safe Lane. I just want to have fun, and that's it. I'm the last time I was playing ranked, I finished up at 4,500.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's top 10% easily, right?
I think so. I think it might even be a little better than that. I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know where it's at inflation-wise. I'm talking about like over 18 months ago, like before there were 7 different stars that you can attach to ranks. So
yeah.
like it's been a hot minute.
Well, we're only back to 5 now, so.
I knew that, man. I have to stop outing myself as someone who doesn't play enough Dota while trying to actively talk about it. It's another self-conscious thing. We're actually talking about.
You don't
all the
need
self-consciousness
to play a whole lot of Dota to talk about and to have an opinion on whether these fucking talent at WePlay are being irresponsible, being in the studio, being around other production people, and spreading their filthy germs all over the place when they should have been doing it from home. Do you have an opinion on that, Joey?
I was surprised that they flew people out.
Yeah.
I was surprised they flew people out. It feels like... I'm also surprised people were okay flying out. Maybe I'm being a little bit more cautious than the general public, but I'm surprised that WePlay was like, you know what this needs? Everyone getting together, because... oops, I think the government doesn't want us to do that. Like, I think that the plans were probably put in motion before things escalated in the West as they did. So they're probably planning for this before more and more people went on a stricter lockdown, and then it just kind of happened. I wonder if they would have, had a week or maybe even 2 weeks longer before they decided that, if they would have done the same thing. I think that we're looking at like a decision that was made weeks ago through a current lens, which might not be fair.
Could be, yeah. I mean, at the same time, it's very easy to pull the plug on something like that, right?
Everyone go home, and they're like stuck because they're like, "Hey, there's."
I just mean before they flew out, right? It's like the tournament definitely started at a point where, like a few days before the tournament even started, we had the quarantines going around all over the place, stuff like that.
Who is actually out there in person? Like, who am I canceling right now?
Kyle, Lizard, Nomad, and they have another guy. They have some new guy that I actually don't really know where he's from or what he does. I think
is it Killer Pigeon?
Harry Freak or something. No, come on, man. I know who Killer Pigeon is. Okay. This guy is legit out of left field. I have no idea who he is, and I didn't get a chance to hear a whole lot of his analysis, so I don't really know how to feel about him. But yeah, some guy called Harry Freak.
Harry Freak is on the Wikipedia page for the broadcast talent. He's Serbian, and he doesn't have their own Wikipedia page. So that seems like an opportunity for me to make one, because I really, I'm a big fan of making Wikipedia pages.
just make up a bunch of lies about him.
Yeah.
Just make him seem like a really epic person. Like he was you could say he was Navi's coach at TI1, for example.
Yeah, who would really know? Who would check that?
No, very few people would know.
What a
Most
weird
people would be like, wait, they had a coach for TI1? I'm pretty sure they didn't. But
what a weird character arc to be like, yeah, I coached Navi for TI1. I went away for about 10-ish years, and then I cast at a charity tournament in, Kiev.
No, you build up the lore where you have him be the shadowy hand behind the scenes, Where
he actually worked at Valve.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That might be too deep. That might be too unbelievable. But, you take him and he's an analyst or coach, or he maybe connects players together to form teams. And you just like kind of go through the list. You probably base him around CIS in Europe, but you just take whatever teams did good in CIS or Europe between TI1 to TI4, let's say. and you just say that he was like the coach for each of them, or an analyst for this team, or you can make a personal addendum like he is actually close friends with Puppy and was the one who recommended Ace to him, or something like that, you know?
I'm trying to look up Hairy Freak. It's a very risky Google search, is what I'm finding out. It's an incredibly, this is not their Twitter. Almost certainly. I need to click away. Wow, that's, I'm gonna
Don't Google that, kids. So give me a hard line, Joey. What do you feel about this? Are you mad? Because people on Twitter are mad.
Do I have to be 100% mad? Can I be like a soft 30% mad? Can I say that it's irresponsible and it shouldn't have happened and people should have thought better and the talent probably shouldn't have been there in the first place and they should have thought better for themselves, and that it's a little bit of shame on everyone, but I don't want to walk around and cancel WePlay for this mishap. I think that it's a poor decision in light of current events, but I don't think it's catastrophic. This all could have been accomplished from home. No one needs to be in studio.
Yeah. My personal opinion is I don't really care that much.
Damn it! Then why do I have to have one? I guess
because somebody on this podcast is going to... that's why I was setting it up to, to make it sound like I believed in that stuff. Listen, here's the thing, is that one member, I won't say who, but one member of the talent was pushing very hard to have ESL One LA when it was still going on. It was somebody like they were brimstone and fire. They're like, this is totally irresponsible. They shouldn't have any audience. I'm thinking about boycotting the whole thing. I think we should all do it. And I'll be honest. I straight up told that person, I was like, yeah, if maybe the audience isn't a good idea. I don't know. But if they have an audience, I'm going. I don't care. I'm definitely not joining you in a boycott. Afterwards, I'm going to go home and be home, and I'm not going to see anybody. So if I get sick at this event, I'll be home. I'm a big believer in personal responsibility, which with an epidemic is a weird line to, like, where do you draw that line exactly? Because obviously just being personally responsible for yourself, you can still spread. I could be asymptomatic and spread corona to other people, and those people might die, right? So it's like, where do you draw the line of I'm taking my own health, and I'm taking the risk for myself, and I deem that acceptable. But at what point do you say, what point do you accept the responsibility of other people around you? And how much of that responsibility do we accept? Which is where this conversation really comes into hand, right? It's irresponsible, obviously, to go out to bars and stuff. Is it irresponsible to work a charity event? Smaller numbers? I don't know how many people they have there in production. WePlay's usually usually have a lot of people, but I've been told it's been kept pretty minimal. And they're obviously very aware of sanitization and stuff like that. Okay, it's a blurry line for sure.
It's wild to think that the LA Major would be going on right now, at time of recording, if everything would have happened as planned.
Oh yeah, what are we, Saturday? Yeah, we should be doing a live podcast, right?
Yeah, dude, we should be doing a live podcast right now. I wonder, oh no, I never told Slacks to cancel. I hope he's not at the bar.
Yeah. Slacks, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but Slacks was another person who said that he would also work the event, and part of his reasoning is during this kind of time, it's part of our job is to help, our job is entertainment, right? So it's we're supposed to be helping people ignore some of all the problems in their lives.
I would have no problem in a theoretical world where I would be working that event in whatever capacity to be there, until the government or the city's like, hey everybody, shut it down, this is a horrible idea. I'd be like, well, even if there's no audience, like what's the harm in us being here? But then obviously, you know, stuff's escalated so much, even in the last week, if nothing else. It's been pretty wild. Like at this point, because Los Angeles and then the city of Los Angeles and then California shut down, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do it anyways, even if ESL did try to hold out for longer. Like there would have been a point there where there would have been some type of government intervention.
Yeah,
we're just a waiting time bomb for that. I was worried because I had Tsunami staying with me at my house for a couple days post Summit and finding a way to go back to Texas.
Him not working Summit because of his potential exposure to the coronavirus. That's why he was not there at the Summit, even though he was here in California, right? So
yeah, so I'm like, I'll shelter you. This seems like a fine idea. And then, you know, I woke up one morning. I'm like, I have a sore throat. Oh no, I'm going to die. But it's wild to see how it's been affecting everyone's lives, and you know it is super serious. I had to like yell at my grandma the other day to like not go out of the house. Like, I'm happy that we have esports and esports dollars that are like still flooding in. So I think what I'm seeing and like some whispers of what I'm hearing is that, you know, all of these companies who give millions and millions and millions of dollars to the MLB, the NHL, the NBA, all these big sports leagues that just aren't going to be happening, now have this allocated budget that needs to be spent on something. So not only is esports in like a positive position regarding a quarantining corona anyways, because it doesn't have to be in one physical location, it is all over the internet. I think that we might be in like some weird boom period where we're gonna see people who have never been inside of esports like taking a chance on it because they're like, well, I mean, I can't spend money on LeBron because he's sitting at home, but you know, maybe I can give Sumail some money, or maybe we can pay to have ESL do a better tournament. I'm excited to see, you know, the odd positive effects that come from this. And it's weird to say any positive effects are coming from this because, you know, people are dying, but maybe MasterCard will give more esports money.
We'll definitely have to see like what tournaments come up. ESL is probably one of those that is in the best position because they're such a big esports tournament organizer that they probably have access to mainstream brands that some other TOs don't. So we'll have to see what kind of names come out as a result of this and any kind of upcoming leagues that they throw. We've got the CS Pro League, which is going on right now, which, you know, that was always going to happen. So not a whole lot changed there. There's still another good example of a tournament that's still going on with a studio in person is Flashpoint for CS as well. That's Monte Cristo's and Thorin's project. Mm-hmm. That has studio people here in LA actually working together, and they've gotten some criticism for that as well. I think at the end of the day, it's like really easy for people to criticize this stuff and say, well, obviously you should be doing it from home, but at the same time, there's no doubt the product is better in person. The numbers are small, and then on top of that, you know, you can be as fire brimstone as you want about a talent as talent or production or something like that, and to what you should do. But when money is on the line, it's a lot harder. Like I certainly don't blame anybody who is still out there, who is, you know, still out there trying to work despite, you know. Like maybe they have a cold or something. They don't think it's corona, but you know they go to work anyway because they got to make money. Especially here in the U.S. because we don't have as much of a social safety net. But it's a lot harder when your dollars are on the line to really follow through with these things. Again, yeah, I would have worked ESL 1, and I will, if I get the opportunity to work some sort of event. I won't fly anywhere, but if something out of BTS, for example, I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, I'm super lucky to just have a job at this point, I feel, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who can't work from home, so it's a shitty position to be in for some. We're two very fortunate people.
Yeah. I feel doubly felt like I feel like even oddly in a better spot than you, because you would be presumably working those, like the major that is not existing anymore, right? So is that a weird experience for you to just like look at a Dota tweet or a tweet from the Dota account and be like, well, there's X% of my yearly income?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like real quickly what percentage of my income ESL 1 was. And if I had to guess, it'd probably be anywhere from 5 to 7% of my yearly income. So it wasn't like a massive hit, but it wasn't a massive hit in part because I worked so many events prior. And hopefully, like, I'm in talks right now that I'll be working some events coming up. So we'll see.
Dude, that's an announcement of an announcement.
It really is. I mean, we already said there's an arms race for online tournaments. People should not be surprised if there's stuff coming out soon. So
yeah, we both know, but also we don't really know, but we kind of know, and we're not really spoiling anything. Like it's only good business sense to be doing this stuff right now. So
also another thing is just straight up to loop it back into Dota. Like I'm fully ignorant of this, by the way. What's going to happen in the DPC points? What's going to happen in the DPC season, right? Like, I would assume that Valve is just going to run their same league system that they're doing next year and just put it in now, right? Because it's the perfect time to be doing something like that. You need online events. You might as well do it. I don't know if, like, Valve's ready. I don't know if tournament organizers are ready to like put something together like that. But considering the circumstances, people will probably be forgiving of a product that is not as polished as you would expect next year. In some ways, it's like the perfect opportunity to soft launch something like that, put it out into beta, put a online league for DPC points out there, because people will be more accepting of mistakes.
Yeah, and from a business side, from the tournament organizers, like, this is a chance to audition for something too. Like,
yeah,
they have to submit proposals, but if they can really show that they can do this by actually doing it, then the likelihood of them getting a contract for next year only goes up, I'd imagine.
For sure.
I'm so interested in what is going to happen with the DPC points, and I feel like people aren't talking about it enough because there's just so many outstanding questions of what could be done or what should be done, and I don't know if there is any good or right answer. If we come to a world, like, we don't even know if TI is going to happen properly like the way we envision it if this goes on for like an extended crazy period of time, right? So it's wild to think about who is going to what's Valve going to want to do regarding the points. Are they going to do any weighting so that points, from the old MDL count for as much as they do with events missing from the year? Mm. Are they going to take 12 teams still? Are they going to look at less teams? Like, is Chaos Esports Club like going to slip into TI because they have some points and there's no more events before TI starts?
Yeah,
are they going to do way more qualifiers?
Let's look at the names, right? Everybody below the guaranteed spots. The guaranteed spots end at Liquid. Not like technically it doesn't, but very, very likely it ends at Liquid, who are at 1820. So everyone below them, which starts with 960 Business Associates, Beast Coast, Aster, Fnatic, Chaos Esports. I would say about half of those teams, I think I could reasonably expect them failing to make TI. But if no more majors happens, those are your 12 teams, right? Like Fnatic, they're a good enough roster. I expect them to make TI, but they've had a shitty showing so far. Business Associates and Aster, like, those are two teams that I don't feel very strongly about. Chaos, they're kind of in the middle ground, but
OG hasn't really had a chance to perform with their newer roster. Enigma didn't play the first event, LGT. Yeah. Like, there's all these teams who you would expect to kind of be in contention who, some for their own doing. Like, the reason why Enigma has no points is because they missed a first major, and then suddenly there's like, wait, there is no third major? What's going on?
Yeah.
So, I'm morbidly curious to see what happens, and I wonder if anyone can even get mad. Like, is there a wrong decision? Could we see a world where Valve just says, hey, you know what, the DPC stuff, kind of scrap it a little bit, gotta change course and course correct?
Yeah, for sure. I think that It would be a good idea to try and, because again, there's just going to be a boom of viewers, a lot more people staying home. If you were already watching esports, great. You know, if you're home, you get to watch what you wanted to watch anyway while you're at work. But you know, there's a lack of entertainment out there, especially live. No sports going on, so more and more people may tune into Twitch, may tune into esports, and I would like Dota to be on that foreground, and I think a DPC, some sort of DPC setup, is the best way to enable that. That way you can have storylines about the international and what this tournament means in context of the international, rather than what it is right now, which is just, here's some high level Dota. It's pretty good, you know.
I'd like to see a world where the DPC just goes as planned right now. There's no more events, and then like business associates just like squeaks their way into TI. And then Brax is just like, hey guys, I'm at TI again. Here's my payday.
Yeah, it's a weird time for sure.
Yeah, it's so fucking bizarre. It's incredibly. It's still hard to wrap our head around. We're gonna be talking about and thinking about this for years to come. I just hope that, you know, we can actually put the pieces in place to make next year Dota better. And I really hope that I can still go to TI and the TI happens.
Yeah, that's I think, I don't know. If it gets really bad, obviously you can't have players travel, and doing an online TI would be near impossible. But I could very much see in a TI without an audience. You know, that might be a real possibility. I think that is probably the most likely possibility, considering, you know, unless things change pretty dramatically, considering the current trajectory. But, you know, a lot of people are going to be home watching TI, and that's where most people watch it anyway, so.
We're gonna miss out on another live podcast. I bought these goddamn pants to wear, and I'm never gonna get to wear them. I'm gonna be so mad. It's gonna man. There was a bit of news that got me really excited.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I just kind of want to share this. Maybe, you know, like this is what I want to bring to the class today. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw.
What did you bring to show and tell, Joey?
Did you ever, as an aside, did you ever have to bring anything to show and tell?
Yeah, I always hated that. I was not that interesting of a child, so I didn't really have a whole lot to bring.
Yeah, I had a day where I didn't have anything to bring to show and tell, and I'm like, Mom, there's nothing for me to bring. I'm not gonna bring anything. I don't want to participate. And she's like, Joey, you have to participate. You are not someone who does not participate. I'm gonna find something for you to take to show and tell. And then she goes up in her closet. I'm like eating a waffle, I think. It had chocolate chips in it.
Hey, goes, yeah.
Yeah, I used to drink chocolate milk every morning before school for like 10 years. And I think about the calories now and I shudder.
Those were the golden days, Joey, where you could just put that liquid sugar down your mouth and nothing would happen to your body.
It was so good. Now, like, that gives me heartburn. Getting old sucks. My mom comes down with, like, this bag that's, like, making some weird noise, and she gives it to me, and she's like, these are my marbles. I've had these marbles since I was a kid. I used to love marbles. And you know what? I think it would be great for you to bring to show and tell. And I'm like, a dumb child. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I got bullied for like 2 years about those marbles.
Oh, no. It's very sweet, though, that you're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is a great idea. That's probably when I started just trusting my mother and her ideas. It was that exact moment that I can pinpoint now if I think about it. I'm having a therapy session, I think, that I can go back and be like, wow, that was a horrible idea, Mom. You don't understand how mean kids are. Anywho, for this show and tell, I am over the moon that Valve is talking about updating Artifact. I got so excited. I got so excited. And I'm like, am I going to get burned by this game twice?
I'd be so hype if you invested into a game on its on its first life and its second life, and both times it turned out shit.
Yeah. Dude, I took I took like a portion of the money that I won playing Artifact and reinvested it into cards so I can just like buy a full pack so I can still continue to play competitively. And then talk about stocks. We're gonna tie this back into fucking shorting stocks. I did the wrong bull move, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy extra cards, dude. I know which cards are gonna be so good. I know which cards are the imba ones. I'm gonna buy them all, and then I'm gonna resell them. And I probably lost close to $200 in the Steam marketplace because of Artifact cards.
Oof. You know who made money on Artifact? Charlie Yang. He made money on Artifact.
What did he do?
He sold all his axes.
Oh man,
he opened some packs on the first day. He opened a bunch of packs. He got very lucky, got a bunch of axes, and he sold them at the peak.
Wow!
So he made money. I technically made money because I worked an event for BTS, and that paid me more money than I lost on investing in artifacts.
I was very excited for that news because I did genuinely enjoy playing Artifact, and
Same.
I'm also trying to figure out right now how I'm going to play Half-Life Alyx next week. I don't own a VR headset. I don't know anyone who I want to go take their face germs from right now. And I also don't want to go buy one because an index is like $1,000. I don't got that.
Very expensive. But shit, now that you say it, it's a lot of money. But again, there's a lack of content to consume right now. Don't
you think you'd be mad at yourself like 6 months from now if you bought an index now? And got like a really fun time playing like Beat Saber or whatever you want to do with your girlfriend, or like you can go watch a bunch of VR porn that might be cool for like a little bit, and you can play Half-Life Alyx. But then after all that stops, you're gonna like look back in a couple months and be like, wow, I spent $1,000 on this piece of technology that sits in a drawer.
Yeah, dude, I will be very mad with myself. Because I remember I said last time we had this conversation, I need at least two games that I really want to play. I do really want to play Alyx, but there's nothing else, right? There's nothing else that I'm interested in. So, but at the same time, we're going to be indoors for another 3 months. So, you
should just start prepping for one of those DPC circuits, like lower division team spots. Like you should just use this as body training time and Dota training time. Go hit some leaderboard top 100 shit.
I've stopped. I still play Dota, and I do grind, but I don't really grind with much of a purpose anymore. I hit my peak. I was a 7K player. I can say that. I don't know if I'll ever get past that. I know I've got a cap on my skill. So,
was there a point in time where you just like walked away from one game and you're like, you know what? I don't really need to play like this anymore. Like,
not really. Because it happened very slowly, right? I played competitively Dota 1. I played competitively for Han and Dota 2. Like, I've always been playing, but back then it was something where it was like, it didn't take over your life, right? Like, you would play a lot and it was a hobby, but it wasn't something you could do professionally. Or if you could, it was a very small number of people. It was a very hard scene to get into, and it wasn't that much money. So it was just like not realistic to do something like that. And so for me, I was just kind of always playing. It was fun to play competitively. I had aspirations to go pro, but like not something that I was that heavily invested into. You know, I wanted to play on teams and get better and maybe eventually show up on a team that could be considered like tier 2 or something. But, you know, there was no drive. I had regular life going on. I couldn't commit a ton of time. So I just always kind of played. And then I got into casting for Heroes of New Earth because I was playing competitively on and off. I had like military stuff going on at that time. So there was like a decent amount of time that I was gone, and I would come back and play some with some teams and stuff like that. But eventually I just got more into casting. And then once I got an offer to full-time cast, that's obviously when I stopped playing competitively entirely. And then even when I came back to America, by the way, I would still stand in for some teams and stuff because, well, they were really desperate. But you know, it was fun. Like, I still really enjoyed doing that at times. I really enjoyed veggies, for example. I had a ton of fun with that. I want to be able to do it next year as well. Because it does scratch a certain competitive itch I have, but I'm over trying to prove how good I can be at the game, because I also know like how good I can't be, if that makes sense. I know I have a cap.
Does it get to a point where the only way that you could get better or to that level is just to have the time to play a fuck ton? Like, where that becomes the main factor that you need to be playing Dota for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, sometimes when I'm home between events, I get to 8 hours a day. Some people honestly just aren't. They aren't just like I could never be Samael, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard. Because, like, for example, I'm okay in clutch scenarios. I would like to think that I'm good in clutch scenarios in real life, but I'm not clutch in Dota. I choke in Dota, and there's nothing that like I'm scared of. There's not something that's, you know, like I can go see a sports psychologist or something, and, you know, like maybe it would help a marginal amount. But I honestly just don't think that I'm that kind of person, and yeah, that's fine. I'm not like. I've accepted it. I've accepted it over time, and I'm just not cut out to be a pro player of at least not Dota. So I think some people are just better equipped with that. It's like a lot of things in life, right? Some people are more natural, and with training can hone that into being potentially the best player in the world, but maybe they just don't have the motivation to do so, so they never make it that far. Other people have the motivation to do so and can train lots and lots and lot. I mean, just take a look at Synderen for a great example of somebody who has been trying very hard for a very long time to be the best, and just hasn't ever made it, right?
Yeah.
I think there's an innate amount of like inner talent that comes with this stuff, whether it's the reactions that you have, whether it's how correctly and accurately you can click the keys and accurately click the spells on people. There's just a myriad of things that only so much can you train and get better at.
I think that's kind of why I was excited playing Artifact, because I think that I eventually got to a point through all the Dota and all the Counter-Strike that I understood so much about competitive play, and I enjoyed doing it a fuck ton. But I knew that I didn't have the time and just the raw skill, or either the ability to learn or the right teacher to really get to like the upperiest of echelon levels. Mm-hmm. I've always been like top 10, top 5% in games that I care about. But there was always like a mechanical thing to get from a place where I could be, you know, playing it in houses with tier 2 or tier 3 Dota people, or, you know, playing top level ESEA games. But then Artifact came along and I was playing that game and I'm like, maybe it's card games. I don't need to like practice my perfect flick shot. I just have to understand this, and it's more like learning. And maybe I felt myself kind of settling into a card game niche that I never quite enjoyed with Hearthstone, and that I've never explored with Magic because I'm terrified to get into Magic and be addicted to it. So like I played a lot of Artifact, and I did well. I did pretty well in it, albeit, you know, the sample size of people who were playing competitively in the beta was very small. But they were like professional card game players that I was taking games off of and beating. So that's kind of why that I feel like if Artifact became a thing, that might be a thing that I'd want to dedicate enough time to learn, to try and play at a semi-competitive level. That, and I'm probably going to play the fuck out of Valor when it comes out, but that goes back to the same Counter-Strike problem, right?
Update your Twitter profile, Joey. Professional Valorant player. Man, that's a meme going around. I feel like I totally understand it. I'm clowning on it, but I totally understand, especially talent who are you know, aspiring Valorant caster. I saw some guy putting out his casting. Like, he takes the recent hero that they showed. He took that showcase and did esports type commentary for it. Like, it was a live match, and then responded with it to try and get some attention. Like, go that guy. I mean, I think it's silly, but it does show.
It's a good hustle.
It's good hustle. It's good grind. You got to market yourself somehow. So I respect people who are doing that, even though I'm going to laugh at it sometimes.
I think it's weird to see people know that game is going to be so giant, or at least theorize that it's going to be so giant that they want to like grab talent early.
Yeah.
And assign them to a brand or a team. But that feels backwards to me. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to pick out players before I know who's actually good.
Yeah, it's very weird. I feel very similarly. My commentating, the way I cast, like, obviously I'm always on the lookout for the next game that I want to dabble into. I really want to be able to do something other than Dota, even though I obviously love Dota to death, and it will always be my primary. It'll always be my primary motivation and financial source as well. But I do want to expand my skill set quite a bit. And I've looked around. I've tried other games. I tried Overwatch. I really thought that maybe Overwatch would be something I could get into. And I could have forced it. You know, I could have said, okay, I grinded it for like 2-3 days because I got like a soft offer of like, hey, are you interested in doing Overwatch League? And so I was really excited. Because I was like, oh, this is dope. I can prove myself as a commentator outside of my Dota game. But what I know about myself is I really need to be passionate about the game that I cover. And so I grinded Overwatch like 12 hours a day for like 3 straight days. And I didn't feel it like I feel it for Dota. And I know my commentary would suffer. Toby or Owen, I think they could move games and still be like moderately successful, if not potentially high, top level. But I feel like I would not be able to achieve the same kind of success. Something about my commentating style is more predicated on my passion for the game and the conversational flow I have with my analysts. So I've been looking for a game like that, but nothing has really caught my interest. And so it's weird having seeing casters be like, this is what I'm gonna cast before you've even touched the game for me. Because that's just not how I work.
That feels admirable and genuine in a way that I don't think everyone is, because there are people who are just out there to, have a career or get that bag or just have some kind of sustainability. But to know yourself well enough to be like, maybe my end product won't be good because I don't care, or maybe I shouldn't do this if I don't care, is like putting mental health or like your own product before just a job.
I mean, which I did not follow through on playing. Like, I did not ever go all in on playing professionally in any of the games that I played, because there was a part of me somewhere in the back of my head that knew I wouldn't be the best. you know? And for me, like, I don't want to be, and by best, I mean like be on a top 10 team, right? Or for commentating, for example, be like a top 5 caster. So for me, it wasn't worth committing to that and end up being like a tier 2 player. Whereas commentating, I knew I could make that. I believed very strongly in myself that I could be one of the best. I still kind of know that I will never be the best, but that's fine with me. I just need to be on the top echelon. I need to be able to make it that far. So, like, I don't know. That's just something how I work, I guess.
Would you say that that's different? Like, would you argue that there are most casters who would be like, no, I think / I want to be the best? Or do you think that people are kind of like, well, you know, I'll never be insert top caster. I'll never be Owen.
I think, to be totally brutally honest, I think there is a fair number of tier 2 players and casters who just want to quote unquote make it. Like, they're just looking to be able to make it to the next stage. Like, for casters, like tier 2 casters, I just want to get to a LAN. I just want to be able to make money off of this. But the truth is, to make money off of this, you have to be one of the best. So you have to be able to go above and beyond, and you still may not even make it. Playing it's a little bit more simpler now, especially now for the past 5 years, because the field is a lot more open. Back in early Dota 2 and Dota 1 days, it was very closed off. It was about who you knew. Pub players didn't get much notice, but you know, it's still similar for commentating, right? Even though there is I would argue, more luck and such that goes into it. There's perfectly good tier 2 casters that I imagine could have been tier 1 if they had, you know, maybe started sooner, or maybe gotten a little bit luckier, and what tournaments they've gotten, what games they've covered, such like that, right? Like ODPixel almost dropped out of casting, and he's like one of the best casters in all of esports. So there's a good amount of luck that goes into it, but I would say that there is a fair amount of tier 2 players and commentators that do not have that drive to be the best at something that they do. And maybe that's me just throwing some shade, but I do genuinely believe that.
I think that makes the most sense. I think that's the most logical answer. People just want to be there, and also not. It seems like it goes in different fields too. Like the drive to quote be the best. You know, I think you see that more in like a player or an athlete or a writer or a director than someone who has a job that's harder to identify that into. Right? Like a player can also know they're the best.
Like press, or, you know, like if you're a writer for something, or if you're a caster, or any of the side fields to the main event, it's harder to be that personality of like, I want to be the best. If you have that drive, then you would probably be the player, you know?
That being said, I should start taking more pod shots at Sunset and Cinder, and so that we can be the best podcast, because that's something that I would be content with, I guess. Like, I do need more people to think that. I think someone told me that Tortellini ranked us second to them, and I don't know why he is an opinion that matters, but boy, oh boy, I'm gonna drive my ass over to Arizona and then cough all over Sunsfan.
You know, that is something. There's a couple of things about like the personality that I have. It's very hard for me to do content, especially self-motivated, because if I feel like it's not going to be great, then I don't want to do it, which is just a terrible mindset. It's awful for doing content.
It's crippling sometimes.
Yes.
Because you just do nothing, and sometimes you have to do something.
Yeah, dude, you like, more than anything, when it comes to content, you just got to grind it out and learn. But you know, I lose a lot of motivation and stuff like that, which is where you coming along and offering me this opportunity to do I knew I would have someone professional to work with to do.
Oh, don't make me blush. You can't see me blushing, but I'm blushing.
But I knew you'd make good production out of the podcast, and I didn't know how we were going to be on the podcast together, but it was worth a shot, you know? And you know, it turns out I think that we're pretty good. But at the same time, I will tell you, I'm okay being second best podcast in Dota. I will accept top 2 of podcasts.
I'm okay with top 2,
But if you want to drive for number 1, I'm down.
I would prefer for number 1. I'm okay with top 2. I would be incredibly upset and very chip on the shouldery if it was like not in the top 3.
Okay.
Like I get
so it's
more motivated by failure.
It's Suns fan, us, and Dan, right? Those are easily the top 3 podcasts in my mind.
Yeah. And it hurts that, like, I like Dan and I like Cinderin,
but I'm
and like, you know,
crush him. I was Joey.
I was helping Dan buy a new microphone today, and I'm like, oh man, I should just sabotage him to give him a bad microphone, and that'll be great. Let's just knock him out of the race. Like, it's like pouring sugar in someone's gas tank. If I was a NASCAR racer, like, fuck him.
Yeah, like anybody would be listening to the podcast and be like, this Dan guy doesn't sound right. Fuck his podcast. We're the ones putting on the show, Joey. They wouldn't be like, fuck that guy. They'd be like, what the fuck, Paul?
Oh man, I think that was a dry cough I just had. I'm now concerned again. I just went to go look up Postmates to see if I can still get ramen. The answer is it's too late.
So, Chipotle is free delivery, and I think Wingstop is too. Just a heads up for people who are looking for food delivery options.
Yeah, I'm gonna go scavenge for something and try and get some kind of sustenance. I should just go eat nothing and starve myself and get started on that fit body. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. This is a sign.
Good on you, Joey. I break so hard. Food, I can't. Like, I did 1 meal a day. 2 days ago, I did pretty solidly, like, 1 meal. I had a protein shake, which was a little bit cheating, but I did 1 meal, and it was a very healthy meal at that. My girlfriend made, like, it was just chicken and veggies and salad, so it was very, very healthy. Went to sleep, didn't eat, woke up the next morning hungry, but, you know, put it off for a little bit, and then I just broke. And I ate way too much food yesterday. And now, like, it's a cycle, because then I went in today and I was like, all right, it's like 11:30. I haven't eaten yet. I'll put it off for a few hours. I had some leftover pho, so I had that for my lunch. I'm looking at it. It's 10 p.m. I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling too bad. I can probably go to sleep in the next, like, 3 hours without eating. And then I bet tomorrow I'll just break again.
I'm going to need you to keep me accountable.
All right, well, we have to keep each other accountable.
Yeah,
I'll join the push-up contest too.
Again, like, maybe I'll start the parallel.
Worry. If you're worried about, like, flaking out, we've got people in there who have already flaked out. I'm not sure if Kyle's done a single push-up yet. I'll be honest.
Isn't he spreading corona to the world by going to WePlay? How selfish.
Yeah, I mean, he should be focusing a little bit more on breathing into the ground over and over again by doing push-ups.
Oh man, I'm gonna do some push-ups.
Okay.
Maybe install WhatsApp so you can invite me to the group.
Hell yeah.
And then not eat, starve myself, and hope that the podcast sounds decent. This is a weird time to wrap up and be like, hey everybody, you probably noticed if you're watching the video version, there's not a video version. Maybe if you're on the podcast feed and it sounds normal enough, then you can be like, I wonder if something's different. But this is a corona quarantine, us in our own rooms. I'm actively moving, so my room is extra echoey because there's nothing in here. The microphones are different. We're recording over Discord. There's so many things that can go wrong that I'm genuinely hoping don't. Yeah, if they do, they'll be fixed next time. I promise. Because if we were the first best podcast,
we have to re-record tomorrow.
You sound a little bit like a robot on Discord, but I'm almost certain that your local record's going to be fine. So I'm very happy that you did that, right?
Yeah, it's still going.
Oh, phew. Great. Everybody, I genuinely hope that you're being safe and not hating us for making light of any of the situation. I know that it's impacting some people more than others, but we are in our homes in sunny, beautiful Los Angeles. The traffic is great because no one's outside, and we're going to keep on doing the show. Maybe I'll be able to show Cap my new apartment sometime soon. Or maybe there'll be more Discord calls. We'll have to see what happens for the next couple of weeks. But thank you for.
We also might have a guest next podcast. Blitz said he's down, and Joey, if you're interested, we might have an extra special guest.
An extra special guest?
Yes, outside of Blitz.
You'll have to tell me about that privately. I want to tease people.
Yes, it will be good.
I can bring all the equipment wherever.
Excellent. Well, it wouldn't be in person. I was saying over Discord again.
Damn it. I just want to meet these people. I want to be able to look Will in the face and be like, I can eat more food than you.
You definitely can't, dude. I promise you. I've seen William eat so much food. He can eat so much.
We'll get there. I'll record it when it happens. Well, that'll be a tease for next time. But thanks everybody for hanging out. I hope everything went okay with the audio. You can do us on all the podcast apps you like. Those are easy. You can do us on the video version. This video, I got to figure out what's actually going to be the video because there is no video. So watch us on YouTube or listen to us on YouTube, whatever. The 5 stars on Apple always helps. Do I have a review pre-pulled to add and talk about? Nope, didn't do that production. So again, number 2 podcast. The number 1 podcast might have done that. I really got to fix my shit. Oops. I'm going to go starve myself or eat ramen and not tell you about it.
Same.